Hi there, this is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com from Tapping.me, and I'm also the creator of the program Catapulting to Confidence. I want to talk about the perception of procrastination today. A lot of the videos and audios that I do are with a message of understanding things maybe with a different perspective, which can change how you feel about yourself, about the behaviors that you're using to protect yourself, to make yourself feel safe. And procrastination is a big one. So I know I've talked about safety in the past, but this is another really, really important thing, as well as belonging. People misunderstood and misunderstand what procrastination is doing and how it's actually trying to help you and protect you. So when you look at what would have to happen if you got whatever it is you are delaying or looking the other way from, is there pain involved there? Because human beings are magnificent avoiders of pain. And if it's too far over the top for you, represents too much of what you'd have to go through, too much of what you'd have to do or who you'd have to interact with, you could absolutely be avoiding out of protection. So think about a task that you don't like to do. And what do you label yourself as when you're avoiding that? I'm being lazy, I'm avoiding, and you berate yourself, pick on yourself, talk down to yourself, when actually what you're trying to do is saying, I hate this, I don't want to do it, and I'm avoiding the pain of it. That's not so lazy and crazy. That's kind of actually smart, except that if you can change your perspective, you might be able to change the outcome. The other thing is, what will happen if I get this done? Whatever it is that you're avoiding. For entrepreneurs, it may be something like your website or a program that you want to do or whatever. What would have to happen to make that come to fruition? And what is the pain that you are perceiving that you're really trying to avoid? Now, I can speak firsthand of this. I was in such an overwhelming state when I started my business, and all I could do was handle client sessions. I knew I wanted to do products and programs, but oh my goodness, I was so overloaded that getting into the whole technology and the how-tos and how to make all that happen, it just seemed like such a difficult and painful process because that's not where my skill set is. My skill set is more about doing the audios and sharing messages and maybe a different perspective and how the energy of things can work in your mind and body. But it is certainly not about the tech stuff. And that was so painful because I was coming off a very painful timeline in my life where did I want to go near one more thing that caused me pain? I started rebelling against wanting to do yard work and wanting to do anything that was like, ugh, that would register as a ugh inside. I found myself avoiding. And some of those things were not painful for me in the past. But if they weren't uplifting, I was so far out of balance with heavy stuff and difficult stuff and heavy emotions that I was so overloaded, I couldn't handle any more pain. So when people say push through, yeah, sometimes you can do that, but sometimes you cannot. And it just depends on the level of interference with what you perceive as painful, what you're looking at as, please don't make me do that. It also could be that it's not the right time. For me, sharing some of the things that I share, I feel like it's an important part of me. It always has been, whether I did it from an energy standpoint or an EFT standpoint or a subconscious belief standpoint. That might be the new spin for me. Well, not new. I've been doing that for a long time, but new in the scope of my whole life. But I've always been a person who empowered others. I've always been a person that was empathetic. I've always been a person who tried to help soothe someone else or see if they could understand their perception in a different way. That's always been a part of me. Some of the tools I use now are different, but the path and the pattern is the same. It's a part of me. It's who I am. I want you to think about something that you're procrastinating about. It's not just about tapping away, oh, I don't want to procrastinate. And, some people do very superficial tapping. And when they don't get results, they wonder why. I try to do some explanation about why, because there's a bigger, deeper meaning underneath. And when you understand that, you start beating yourself up. When you think about, I'm taking care of myself by trying to avoid a painful scenario, does that not sound better to you or feel better to you or land in a better way for you than what the heck is wrong with me? I'm delaying again. I know I need to do this. I must be lazy. I'm being so lazy. I have a family member that used to run circles around people as far as getting things done. And now she's kind of been flattened by the pain of an accident, which has some other connotations attached to it too. But she beats herself up daily. I'm so lazy. I'm too lazy. I can't do that. No, her mental anguish has gotten so strong, and not just from an accident, but from many things that have built up to the point where she is at her tolerance level, her trauma tolerance level. She's mistaking that and misunderstanding that for being lazy. She is not a lazy person. If you knew some of the things that this woman did in her life, she's not lazy, and she has not gotten lazy, but she's gotten beaten down without an escape valve, without knowing how to release the emotions, the traumas, the pain, the anger, the frustration. All of that has gotten so bottled up and so backed up that it's flattened her. And I don't think a lot of people realize that your emotional impact will absolutely do that if you don't find a way to release or take care of or change your perception. I'm hoping that when I give some of these explanations, like procrastination, you will realize it's not that you're lazy, crazy, or stupid. You may be avoiding something that feels unsafe, their criticism, their judgment. How will they attack me when I get this done? What will they expect of me when I get this done? It may be a rebellion that you're saying, I'm not doing this for you because you treat me like crap. There could be so many other underlying reasons for procrastination that are actually trying to serve you, but you're not perceiving it that way. And unless or until you can change the energy, your perception, your belief about how wrong or bad you are, that's not helping you anyway. When you can see it differently, when you can hear why you might be doing some of the things you're doing, that they're actually in a way to preserve your health, your life, protect you against people, places, or situations that can cause you pain, doesn't that feel softer to you? And then when you go to use a tool like EFT, you can tap away some of that. You can honor it. You can accept it, saying, I'm not lazy or crazy or stupid, but I'm trying to avoid what feels uncomfortable. So let's just do a little, I'm not about tapping in every explanation audio, but we can do just a little bit about perception of procrastination, because I promise you it is not happening just for you to be stupid about something or lazy about something, or it's really an avoidance, but it can be the wrong timing. It can be the rebellion that you're feeling against a person who's wanting you to do something, or it could be just it represents too much pain, and right now that's not what you can handle. So let's just do a little bit of tapping. I'm going to assume you know how to tap. Take responsibility for yourself while we're doing this tapping, and start on the karate chop point. If you don't know how to tap, you can go to my intro to tapping video, and I'll call out the points here. Just follow along as best you can. So take a deep breath first and think about something as you're settling into that breath. Think about something that you're avoiding. I don't even want to say procrastinating against. What are you avoiding? And what pain might be associated with that? That you've just said, I just can't deal with that right now. I don't want to deal with that right now. It doesn't feel good to even focus to try to push through that right now. Call something to mind that fits into somewhere along that line of thinking. What will happen when I get it done? I'm afraid of what will happen when I get it done. There's just too much pain associated with it. And let's start tapping on the side of the hand. Whew. Even though I'm blocking this from happening, avoiding it, it's like the plague. I don't want to go near it. Maybe it's not what I have perceived in the past. Maybe there's so much pain there, or it's the wrong time. Something is out of sync, and it doesn't feel good. And in fact, it feels pretty awful. I want to honor this from a different point of view. Even though I'm blocking doing this, or blocking being around that person, I just can't bring myself to do it. And it might be that there's too much discomfort there, too much pain of the outcome, too much pain in the process. So I'm actually trying to do some self-care by avoiding it. I wonder how I can honor the fears or anxieties surrounding this. Find a different way to perceive why it's not working. And give myself some personal understanding. Because I want to love, honor, and respect me. Go to the eyebrow. There's some reason I don't want to do this. Side of the eye, maybe it's representing too much pain for me right now. Under the eye, maybe what I have to do is just too uncomfortable for the moment. Under the nose, or maybe there's enough resistance saying this is the wrong path. Chin, but if I have a conflict or a tug of war going on inside. Collarbone, where I want to do this, but I can't. Under the arm, there may be a different reason. Wrist, and I might not at all be lazy, crazy, or stupid about this. Top of the head, if there's too much pain, of course I would want to avoid it. Eyebrow, if there's too much pain associated with the outcome, of course I would want to avoid it. Side of the eye, if there's too much pain in the process, of course I would want to avoid it. Under the eye, is there a way that I can chunk this down? Under the nose, is there pain that needs healing with this? Chin, some emotions that are still raw from past events. Collarbone, what if I can perceive this differently? Under the arm, in a softer, more loving way personally. Wrist, maybe I can perceive this in a different way than how I was taught. Top of the head, we've all berated ourselves at one time or another. Eyebrow, for procrastinating and having that be a bad thing. Side of the eye, what if it's a wait, hold it message? Under the eye, it might be that I'm on the right path but at the wrong time. Under the nose, it might be with the wrong people. Chin, it might be that I need to dissolve the pain of the expected outcome. Collarbone, and what if it could be more fun? Under the arm, or maybe I need some support or help in a different way. Wrist, maybe I'm not in the right alignment just yet. Top of the head, is this something that really calls to me? Eyebrow, if it really calls to me, it'll stay there. Side of the eye, but let me give some attention to the frustration or the hurt. Under the eye, the criticism or judgment. Under the nose, maybe the expectation of another failure. Chin, the expectation of another hurt. Collarbone, or just too much overwhelm and pain. Under the arm, that is not a reflection of me or my abilities. Wrist, but there may be other things that I need to clean up first. Top of the head, that then the journey would be full of joy and much easier. Now take a deep breath. I wove in a lot of things in this one message, but it's because the perception of procrastination is, I think, pretty misunderstood. And once I understood the energy behind blocking or resisting or rebelling or the hurt or the, I'm afraid of what the outcome will be, or the criticism or judgment from them, or what if it's not what I expect? Those are all preliminary things and feelings and beliefs that if you clean those up, something could happen that could make everything fall into place. And if it's a resistance that's really strong, maybe that's not where you're supposed to be going, or maybe you're supposed to take some time to pull back and reevaluate what's really going on here. Am I pushing this because of what somebody else told me it's going to happen? Has this been my reality in the past? Do I believe I can do this? Because some of those things, if you clean up the undercurrent first, some of the process then can fly. And it's amazing how doors and people and places and situations will open up that make it so easy that you're thinking, oh my goodness. Procrastination does not mean that you're lazy, crazy, or stupid, or any other tag that you would put. It means that there might be some pain there. It's the wrong time. You might be rebelling against someone that you don't want to help or don't want to be around or want to avoid. Look at the undercurrent. There's some reason, and be gentle with yourself. Gosh, gentleness and kindness for ourselves. If we haven't learned what that looks like or how that feels, you've got to start developing that skill yourself, because the more you do that for yourself, the more you will draw it in, the more people, places, and situations will line up that have that criteria of gentleness, kindness, understanding. Everybody else doesn't have the right answers to your life. You do. And my job, how I look at it, is as a coach, as someone who has been through the circus of some of these big events that caused me to stop in my tracks, I so got a different perspective, and it helped soften, even if no one else understood, it helped me soften my understanding for myself, no matter what anybody else thought. And I hope this audio brings that for you. I hope some of the tapping opens up a little bit of, procrastination. You're really trying to avoid something that represents discomfort in a big way, and sometimes clearing that out first can be so beneficial. So this is Joanne, and until our paths cross again next time, bye-bye for now.